So can I have a motion to open the meeting? Do we start with that one? Or do I just read the opening statement?
We do.
I can just go right into it? Okay. All right, great. So good evening. It is now 6:06 on February 7th. This is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Board. The Planning Board is a 7-member board. Any special permit decision of this board requires a 2/3 vote. 2/3 of a 7-member board is 5. If only 5 members vote, the vote would have to be unanimous. Any person giving testimony must state and spell their name and provide their street address for the record. All questions from the public should be directed through the chair. This meeting is live and it's actually being recorded, correct? It's not live. It's not currently being broadcast live, but is being recorded and will be available on SCTV website at www.sandwichtv.org tomorrow. According to town bylaw, meetings are audio recorded. If anyone intends to also record, kindly notify the chair. Okay, great. And we can stand for a Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to share one reminder to the board, because we have a member participating remotely. All votes have to be roll call votes tonight.
Thank you. All right, the first thing on the agenda is review and approval of the minutes from January 17th, 2023. If I can have a motion or any comments, if anybody has any comments on them first.
I have
Okay,
no comments.
take a motion
I motion to approve the minutes of the January
as January.
January 17th meeting of the Planning Board.
I second the motion.
Thank you. All right, any submissions of new plans? Yeah.
Through the chair, you have to take a roll call vote.
Oh, roll call, that's right. Okay, I'll do roll call. Jennifer Reisig, aye. Jeffrey Picard?
Aye.
Paul Cotillas?
Aye.
Melissa Dugan?
Aye.
And Philip Rodriguez?
Aye.
Great, thank you. All right, submission of new plans. Are there any submissions of any new plans? All right, doesn't appear to be any. So we'll go straight into the new business on the agenda. First up, we have 7 Stonefield Drive, special permit. I'm going to go to, give me 1 second while I pull it up. Okay. So should I just read the public hearing notice first?
Yes.
Okay, great. So the Town of Sandwich public hearing notice for the Planning Board. The Sandwich Planning Board will hold a public hearing on the application of Darren and Tina Meyer, applicants and property owners, for a special permit for property located at 7 Stonefield Drive, map number 68, parcel number 48, East Sandwich, Massachusetts, for the purpose of constructing an accessory dwelling unit. The public hearing will be held on February 7th, 2023 at the Sand Hill School Community Center, 16 Dewey Ave, Sandwich, Mass. at 6 p.m. The public record information can be viewed at the Planning and Development Office, 100 Route 6A, Sandwich, Mass. during normal business hours, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Jeffrey R. Picard is the chair of the Sandwich Planning Board. I am Jennifer Reisig, and the vice chair, sitting in for the chair. This was published in the Sandwich Enterprise on January 20th and January 27th, 2023. Okay, great. And I'll take a motion to open the public hearing.
I, Paul Cotillas, motion to open the public hearing.
I second.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to read the following comment memos into the record. So first we have Dave DeCanto, Director of National Resources. The Conservation Commission has reviewed the application for the above listed special permit and does not have any issues or comments. Please let me know if you have any further questions or require additional information. Second is from Sam Jensen in the engineering department. And Sam says the engineering department has no comment on the subject petition. And then we have comment from Brendan Brides, the building commissioner, who states applicant meets all other criteria for an ADU as described in the protective zoning bylaws. Then we have comment from David B. Mason, the Director of Public Health. On behalf of the Board of Health, the Health Department has determined that the use is acceptable and the septic system meets the requirements of Title V for the use. We have comment from Sean Miller with the Sandwich Fire Department, who states, as with any construction in town, they will need permits and inspections of the property. Okay, great. So Ralph, can you provide an overview? It's next on the list here. Before we open it up to the applicant, or do you want me to open it to the applicant first?
No, absolutely. I can give a quick overview. That is, actually, this will be the first special permit for an ADU that the planning board will be hearing. As I put in my memo to the board, the applicant appears to meet all the criteria laid out for a special permit. The reason why he's coming for a special permit is that the lot size does not meet the lot area described for R2 in 2600, but it is in excess of 20,000 square feet, and the applicant is seeking to do a detached ADU. And lastly, just a reminder of the applicant about the
Okay, great, thanks. So before we open the matter up to the applicant, Darren Meyer, so just, you may or may not be aware that the special permit requires a 2/3 vote of the board. It's a 7-member board, so that requires 5 votes. Because there's 5 of us with Jeff on the phone, then it's going to have to be unanimous. So we're going to go through, your delivery to us, and then we'll close the public hearing, and then we can take a straw vote poll to see kind of what our thoughts are, and then we'll turn it back to you to see if you want to continue to go for the unanimous vote, or if you want a continuation to when there might be more members present, and then you can make that decision.
Okay.
Okay, great. So if go right ahead.
Sure. Darren Meyer, I'm the owner of 7 Stonefield Drive. Before you today for the special permit to allow an accessory dwelling unit. It's currently an existing garage detached from the main dwelling. It does have the apartment above already that's already been completed, permitted as a by right apartment, but our wish was to open it up to be able to rent it, and in that case we needed the special permit to allow it to be rented as an accessory dwelling. So as far as the site layout goes, we've provided for parking within the property. There will be no on-street parking. We have enough room in the driveway to allow the tenant to park. We have 2 means of egress, one an exterior means, one an interior means. The apartment is a 1-bedroom layout with a kitchen, a bathroom, and a living area. It's approximately 670 square feet. It's a 26 by 26 garage with a finished upstairs. The plan is to open it up to someone who obviously needs a place to live. It's how rentals are tight right now, so we thought it would be a good option for us to provide us a little income, but also have another unit on the market so people have somewhere to rent. I guess that's it. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about it, about the proposal. I think you have the site plan and everything already.
Yep, we have all the site plan that's in our material. Sam, do you have any comments?
No. This is very straightforward as far as the engineering department goes. We looked at the road and everything. No issues.
Okay, thanks. Anybody on the board?
I just have one question. Ralph, you said it's here because it's really not large enough for how it's zoned, for by right.
Correct.
How large would it have to be?
R2
is 60,000.
60,000.
And the applicant has just over 40,000 square feet.
Okay. So did it get there in the first place?
It was part of a subdivision. So,
Oh, because, so the extra lands are usually included. I got it. Okay. And it's still part of a subdivision, or it still is? Okay, yeah, got it.
Anybody else have any comments or questions? Okay. If there's no further questions, I'll ask for a motion to close the public hearing unless you have anything further. Jeff, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Paul Cotius will motion to close the public hearing for this
Thank you.
discussion.
I second.
Thanks. Okay, great. So we'll do a straw poll. Is anybody feeling strongly in disfavor?
no.
Okay. I'll turn it to you. Do you want to go for the unanimous vote? Or
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So now that the public hearing is closed, we can deliberate. Does anybody have anything that they want to?
There was no, we don't need to vote on closing the hearing, right? It's closed.
You voted to close.
We
The
voted to
motion,
close it.
yeah, it's closed. So we're in deliberations now. So, I mean, it meets everything that we chose for the
Yeah,
bylaws
this
to
is why we
read.
did
So,
it. Yeah,
And there's no opposition from neighbors, so.
yeah.
right.
Okay, I think that's pretty straightforward. So then, should I just take a motion to approve the special permit?
We have to go
And
through
then
the
roll call.
decision, so
Yep.
it's up to the board if you wanna go through the decision right now, or you wanna go through the business of the evening.
Okay.
You can inform the applicant does have the option to stay through the whole meeting and listen to the decision, or he can leave and we can tell them.
Do we have the draft decision? Was it emailed?
You have the draft decision right
Oh.
there. Everyone should have a copy.
Okay, I'll find it. I guess then maybe we should, we'll just move on and then we'll do the roll call and go through the decision it sounds like it's going to be an approval. So, does that sound okay to you?
Sounds
Yeah?
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so then we'll just go through that after. We'll continue. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So next on the agenda is an approval not required for 8 and 10 Fleetwood Road. Deborah Grandy, Diane Schmiegel Family Trust for the purpose of land conveyance. So it says here, Ralph, do you want to provide an overview initially for us?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. This is, it seems like we're getting a few of these A&Rs, conveyance of a little bit of property from one neighbor to another. It appears that 8 and 10 are neighbors, and one neighbor is looking to convey 1,354 square feet from their property to the other. As a reminder to the board, for A&R, endorsement of an A&R just needs 3 things. 1, adequacy of way. 2, proper frontage. And 3, accessibility. This A&R meets all 3 criteria for an A&R.
Okay, great, thanks. Sam, let's see, I'll read your comment memo into the record, because apparently that's here. Okay, great. So Sam provided a comment from memo dated February 2nd, 2023, subject, application for endorsement of plan believed not to require approval, parcels 61-76 and 61-77, address 8 and 10 Fleetwood Road. The engineering department has reviewed the subject application and plan dated December 1st, 2022. The following comments are offered for the board's consideration. First, the subject plan would convey 1,354 square feet of parcel 6176, which is 10 Fleetwood Road, to be combined with parcel 6177, which is 8 Fleetwood Road. 2, it appears that no new buildable lots would be created through this plan. And 3, the plan provides the information required by subdivision rules and regulations, section 3A, with the exception of 3A2I, sufficient topography delineation to allow the board to determine if the lots have adequate access. 3A2C, plan to include all existing buildings within 100 feet of any newly constructed boundaries. That was in quotes. And 3A2M, plan to include, quote, location of public or private wells and septic systems on all abutting properties, end quote. Given the limited scope of the plan, waivers for the above noted requirements would seem reasonable. Okay. And then I guess from there we can open up the matter, no, down here. Oh, we have open up the matter to the applicant Down Cape Engineering. Is Down Cape here or? No? Okay. Sam, do you have any further comment on any of the memo or anything?
No, this is a very simple plan. It's very straightforward. Just looks like a simple sideline land swap, and it would seem appropriate to endorse it. Approval not required.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Well, it looks like a shed was kind of getting nicked by the existing line, and so this puts the shed fully onto one side.
That could be. I don't know the whole backstory, but that seems likely.
Yeah, it's a little section of lot. Any other comments from the board on this? Okay, well then I'll ask for a motion to endorse the approval not required plan.
I motion to endorse the approval not required plan for 8 and 10 Fleetwood Road.
I second.
All right, great. Thanks. Oh, roll call vote? Okay, thanks. So Jennifer Reisig, aye. Paul Katias,
Aye.
Melissa Dugan,
Aye.
Jeffrey Picard,
Aye.
Philip Rodriguez.
Aye.
Great, thanks. And then I'm going to sign the Mylar.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. Next up is old business, 180 Cotuit Road. It's special permit for the ASD Cotuit Mass Solar LLC for the purpose of approving and executing the decommissioning agreement. Ralph, do you have an overview for us on this one?
Yeah. This is the board may remember some of the members were on board at the time. This is the 180 Cotuit Road solar farm. So they included a complete application. As they were going through the application, condition 17 was for the decommissioning agreement. They supplied to the board, to the satisfaction of the review of the building commission and the engineering department, the elements of decommissioning the project. What we have before the board right now is the memorialization of how that's supposed to happen, when it's supposed to happen. I just want to remind the board that the town has been working with ASD and their representative who was here, Matt Terry, this decommissioning agreement has been reviewed by town management and town council, and we thoroughly believe it meets the requirements of both the conditions and bylaws as presented.
Great, thank you. Attorney Matt Terry, we'll open it up to you.
Good evening. For the record, Matt Terry from the firm of Ahmed Clower. I'm here mostly just to answer questions on the decommissioning agreement. This is, I think, the 13th public meeting on the project, going back to 2019, and I think the 4th appearance before the planning board. I was at the Board of Selectmen last week, and they voted to approve the ground lease. If you remember, for 180 Cotuit Road, my client, Amp Solar, is donating 18 acres, the 18-acre site, to the town of Sandwich for permanent conservation, subject to a ground lease that they're taking back for 20 years, initial term, maximum of 45, to operate a solar array. At the conclusion of the lifetime of the lease, then the solar array gets removed and all 18 acres are automatically in permanent conservation owned by the town. So the ground lease has been signed. We're also doing a pilot agreement that's been approved and signed. This decommissioning agreement, as Mr. Patako said, is been reviewed and negotiated thoroughly with town council. I participated in that process to a degree. It was mostly directly with the property owner. But the agreement provides that AMP Solar will post a bond pretty much, I think, immediately after execution of the decommissioning agreement. The bond secures AMP's obligation to remove the system, and that kicks in either at the end of the lease term, or if, in the very unlikely case, AMP abandons the site, then the town can use the funds in the removal bond to hire a contractor to remove the entire system. The bond will be for just shy of $88,000, which the town and my clients agreed represented the cost to decommission the project. There's an estimate that's attached to the decommissioning agreement that actually shows that whomever would decommission it would end up making money because of the salvage value. But just in an overabundance of caution, we totally disregarded the salvage value. So this would be the cost to remove it. And under the decommissioning agreement, every 5 years, the town can revisit that estimate and automatically require an increase in the amount if costs have changed over time. So I think that's the background.
Is there? I'm looking at that section now. If the solar company is unable to provide any increase in the bond, is there anything set into the contract for that? Like if they can't give any increase, I'm assuming they would be able to, but in the event they weren't.
So the decommissioning agreement does state that the bond isn't the limit of AMP's liability, so that if the removal process ended up costing more than the bond, there are indemnities in the decommissioning agreement and in the ground lease that would keep AMP on the hook for any deficiency in the bond amount. So it's not something that if they didn't have the ability for whatever reason to post it up front, then the town could recoup it on the back end under the indemnity.
Okay. Thank you.
I also have a question on under Section 7. There's mention of a surety. That's usually like an insurer or somebody, right?
That's right.
Who is the insurer? It's, as you know, the town may make a claim under the removal bond to demand that the surety remove the facility, but who is the surety?
So I don't think they've been selected yet, but under Section 2 it says that they have to be qualified to do business in Massachusetts and included on the list of approved sureties issued by the U.S. Department of Treasury.
Okay, so there'd be somebody assigned. Right. And then the other question was, you mentioned this was a 20-year minimum lease on the land and a 45-year maximum. This is a 25. This is neither of those numbers. This is a 25. We can every 5 years it comes up again, so the terms can be changed. But is there ever a condition where beyond 45 years they want to put up new panels? Could it be renegotiated, or does this have to come down at 45 years or less?
I think we sort of came to the conclusion that 45 years is really beyond the life of a solar.
Oh, I'm just talking about the stands, the aluminum stands that are going in right now.
They would have to go, depending on what the bylaws are at the time, they would have to probably go for another special permit if they get the special permit as
Okay, they would just go after another permit and then continue. Okay. I think that was it.
Anybody else have any additional comment?
No.
Okay. Anything further?
Nope.
Okay, great. So at this point, I will ask for a motion to approve and execute the decommissioning agreement.
I motion to approve and execute this decommissioning agreement for the solar field.
I second the motion.
Thank you. Oh, roll call vote. All right, aye. Jennifer Reisig, yes. Paul Katias,
Yes.
Jeffrey Picard,
Yes.
Melissa Dugan,
Yes.
and Philip Rodriguez.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, board discussion. Jeff, there is some board discussion that you had wanted to talk about. It says here regarding the scenic road decision discussion. Would you like to lead that for us?
I'd like to postpone that to a meeting when I'm there,
Okay,
if we can.
that'd be great.
Great.
I think that's fine.
It's not time sensitive, so we can wait.
All right, should I go ahead and read the special permit in?
Yeah,
Is now an okay time?
now's the time to do it,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. All right, so this is back to the special permit for the ADU, the certificate of approval. On February 7th, 2023, the planning board voted to approve a special permit under Article 4, Section 4130 of the Sandwich Protective Zoning Bylaws for property located at 7 Stonefield Drive, Sandwich, as shown on Assessor's Map 68, Parcel 48. The planning board certifies that the decision attached hereto is a true and correct copy of its decision to grant a special permit, and that copies of said decision and of all plans referred to in the decision have been filed with the planning board and town clerk. The planning board also calls to the attention of the owner or applicant that General Laws, Chapter 40A, Section 11, provides that no special permit or any extension, modification, or renewal thereof shall take effect until a copy of the decision bearing the certification of the town clerk that 20 days have elapsed after the decision has been filed in the office of the town clerk and no appeal has been filed, or that, if such appeal has been filed, that it has been dismissed or denied, is recorded in the Registry of Deeds for the county and district in which the land is located and indexed in the grantor index under the name of the owner of record, or is recorded and noted on the owner's certificate of title. The owner or applicant shall pay the fee for such recording or registering. A copy of that registered decision shall be returned to the Planning and Development Office as proof of filing. Any person aggrieved by this decision may appeal to the Superior Court or Land Court, as in Section 17 of Chapter 40A, Mass General Law, by filing a notice of action and complaint with the town clerk within 20 days of the date of filing of this decision. So the decision begins with the procedural history. Number 1, on January 17th, 2023, an application for a special permit to create an accessory dwelling unit, ADU, under Sandwich Protective Zoning Bylaw, Section 4130, was filed by Darren and Tina Meyer for property located at 7 Stonefield Drive, Sandwich, Mass. Number 2, after proper notice was given, the public hearing was opened on February 7th, 2023, and closed on February 7th, 2023. The application was accompanied by a plan entitled Garage Apartment Site Plan located at 7 Stonefield Drive, East Sandwich, Mass., prepared for Darren Meyer, dated January 13th, 2023. The board reviewed the application, the plan, and all other materials submitted prior to the close of the public hearing. The board received and gave due consideration to the testimony given at the public hearing. Number 5, the following members attended the public hearing: Jeffrey Picard by telephone, Jennifer Reisig, Paul Katias, Melissa Dugan, and Philip Rodriguez. Findings. Number 1, the planning board finds that this application meets the requirements of Section 9, Mass General Law, Chapter 40A. Number 2, the planning board finds that the subject property lies within the R2 zoning district. Number 3, the planning board finds that the subject property consists of approximately 40,757 square feet. Number 4, the planning board finds that the subject property has approximately 172 feet of frontage on Stonefield Drive. Number 3, Section 1330 requirements, little a, the planning board finds that there are conditions peculiar to this case but not generally true for similar permitted uses on other sites in the same district. Little b, the planning board does not find that nuisance, hazard, or congestion will be created. Little c, The planning board does not find that there will be substantial harm to the neighborhood. Little d, the planning board does not find that there will be derogation from the intent of the bylaw. And finally, little e, the planning board finds that the stated district's objectives will be satisfied. Number 6, the planning board finds that this application meets the requirements of Sandwich Protective Zoning Bylaw, Chapter 1330. Number 7, the planning board finds that the conditions of Section 4130 have been satisfied. Number 8, the planning board finds that the ADU will be in a pre-existing detached accessory structure. Number 9, the planning board finds that the ADU is approximately 650 square feet, containing 1 bedroom, and is a complete and separate housing unit containing both a kitchen and bath. And number 10, the planning board finds that there is at least 1 off-street parking space for the ADU. Can I have a motion? Oh.
Before the motion, are there any other findings the board wishes to add?
No.
Great. Then if I can have a motion?
So I, Paul Cotius, move to adopt these as the findings of the planning board.
I second the motion.
And I'll do a roll call vote. Jeffrey Picard?
Yes?
Jennifer Reisig, yes. Paul Cotius?
Yes?
Melissa Dugan?
Yes.
Philip Rodriguez?
Yes.
Next, conditions. At the public hearing, the planning board considered potential conditions of approval for the special permit. The planning board voted that the following conditions of approval shall be imposed upon the special permit approval, and that these conditions are reasonable, and that the applicant and its successor in interest shall be bound by these conditions. Number 1, pursuant to the requirements of Sandwich Protective Zoning Bylaw, Section 1330, the grant of special permit shall expire if no substantial construction or occupancy takes place within 3 years of special permit approval, excluding such time required to pursue or await the determination of an appeal referred to in Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 17. Number 2, failure to comply with all conditions set forth in this decision shall terminate the grant of this special permit. Number 3, the special permit shall not take effect until it is recorded at the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds, and a copy of the recorded special permit is provided to the planning board. Number 4, only 1 ADU is allowed on the lot. Number 5, the ADU may not be sold or transferred separate and apart from the principal dwelling to which it is an accessory. The principal dwelling, the ADU, and the lot on which they are located shall remain in common or single ownership and shall not be severed in ownership. Number 6, the principal dwelling or the accessory dwelling unit must be the primary residence of the owner, and the remaining dwelling must be leased for a minimum of 12 consecutive months and a maximum of 3 consecutive years, with no subletting to occur, and is prohibited from any use as rental units on a monthly, weekly, or daily basis, including but not limited to season rental and rental through vacation rentals and websites. The ADU shall not be used for boarding and lodging or other commercial use. No occupancy of the ADU is permitted other than as the primary residence of the owner or by lease for a minimum of 12 consecutive months. Anybody have any additional thing they'd like to add to the conditions?
No?
Can I have a motion?
I motion to accept, what are we motioning for? I motion to move to adopt these as conditions for the planning board vote.
I second the motion.
Okay, roll call vote. Jeffrey Picard?
Yes?
Jennifer Reisig, yes. Paul Cotius?
Yes?
Melissa Dugan?
Yes.
Philip Rodriguez?
Yes.
The decision. After reviewing the application, the plan, and other materials submitted, and after giving due consideration to the testimony given at the public hearing, the board hereby approves the special permit application for property located at 7 Stonefield Drive, East Sandwich, as shown on Assessor's Map 68, Parcel 48, for the purpose of creating an accessory dwelling unit pursuant to Sandwich Protective Zoning Bylaw, Section 4130. I have a motion.
I, Paul Cotius, move to approve the special permit in consideration of the findings of the planning board and subject to the conditions as stated herein.
I second that motion.
Roll call vote. Jeffrey Picard?
Yes?
Jennifer Reisig, yes. Paul Cotius?
Yes?
Melissa Dugan?
Yes.
Philip Rodriguez?
Yes.
All right, great, thanks.
I hope we do many more.
We're having one next meeting.
Okay.
Wow, well, it's good. That means our bylaw's working.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so deliberations and other matters not reasonably anticipated. Does anybody have any?
No?
Okay, well then, can I have a,
I move to close the planning board meeting.
Great.
I second the motion.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Oh, do I roll call that one? Do I really roll call that? Yes, okay. Jeffrey Picard,
Yes?
Jennifer Reisig, yes. Paul Katias,
Yes.
Melissa Dugan,
Yes.
and then Philip Rodriguez.
Yes.